Okay, so welcome back again. And like I said, make sure, oh, I didn't say that. Maybe I should say it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell to know every time I download a video. I gotta get this stuff together. You know, I'm doing YouTube new, and make sure that when I do download a video, that you get the notifications. Okay. All right. So let's dive in. So once again, we are here talking to Mya, aka Mya. Oh. I said that wrong.
Yes, Tamaya
We're talking
Reynolds,
to Mya.
a.k.a.
Mya. There we go. All right. So we are talking to Mya today. I want to show you some of her accomplishments that she actually completed over the. Oh, sure. That she actually completed over the quarantine. Okay. She actually wants to show you. So
this book is about a girl named Unique, and she don't really know how unique she really is and how God really made her unique. And this one here, please hold this.
Okay.
Thank you. And then this is just a companion coloring book that goes with it. And if you really look through here, you'll see that all the scenes that's in here, it actually goes with the books as long as with the activities in it. And I have homemade lip gloss that me and my sister actually formulated together, and crayons to go with the coloring book.
And you forgot one more thing.
Oh. And of course your model acceptance bookmarks to go with the book, just in case you stop somewhere in the book and you don't know where.
Right. You do need to be able to mark your place.
Yes.
Exactly. So these are the books that she came over. Once again, and if she sounds a little groggy, it's because she is getting over I want to say summer cold, but actually a little fall cold. Still sleeping with those fans on. But so this is the chapter book, and this is the coloring book. And matter of fact, I don't know if she actually mentioned this, but she actually illustrated every picture in this book. And also she has activities in here. Every picture that she illustrated in here actually goes with a scene that happened inside of the chapter book. Excuse me.
And it's very organic, so you might see, a little unperfectionist, but that's why I actually kind of did that.
Right. Yeah, so it's very organic, meaning that the pictures are not perfect, and we really liked that. We liked the fact that it was not perfect. We liked the fact that it was, it has some, well, you'll see, is like I said, it's very organic, and we really liked the fact that it was. Also, this lip gloss that she handcrafted was made with her sister. Actually, you can find her sister here on YouTube at Amonishades, where she actually has her own line of cosmetics, and she also actually just came out with her own lip gloss.
Yes.
So make sure you check her out. It's Amonishades, Amonishades.
And make sure to go to her website, Amonishades.com.
Yes, and her website. And you can see everything that she did, and you can also see why she had the inspiration to make lip gloss, okay? So make sure you check her out. Also, before we dive into this interview, make sure that you check me out on my social medias as She-Bloss. That is Instagram and Facebook, and you can follow her at Model Your Acceptance on Instagram. Okay. All right. So we got all of that out of the way. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, Mya. So first of all, you made Mya into an acronym.
Yes.
As you can see, M.Y.A here. This is actually an acronym. And what does that acronym stand for?
Mya stands for Model Your Acceptance.
So how did you come up with this acronym?
Well, there really isn't no backstory, like an origin. What I really wanted to do is just make my name an acronym. So me and my mother together, we came up with motto and your, but we just could not seem to find the A. So we went to some words like African, Asia, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Then we found acceptance.
Make sure you look at the people.
Oh,
they
I'm so
want
sorry.
you to talk to them.
Acceptance. We found acceptance. So we was like, model your acceptance.
Right.
That's good. So we just went with that.
I mean, it really sounded good, especially when we started kind of talking about what model your acceptance was. So when you talk about modeling your acceptance, if we was to tell the people who have never heard of modeling your acceptance, what does it mean to model your acceptance?
First, you gotta accept that you are good because God has made you good, and then you start. Once you really accept it, you start modeling it and making your lifestyle.
After being good.
Yes.
So that's an example. So for example, if God says that you are good, that's kind of like what she was saying.
Yes.
If God says that you are good, then you are to accept it. And when you accept the fact that God says that you are good, now you model it. You model it in your behavior.
Yes, your grades.
Okay.
Your, I don't know, like schooling. We should even be seeing like the friends you talk to, at least getting something out of it.
Okay, that's
out
good.
Of you.
Right.
Just you being you.
Right.
You should be like, whoa, Mya real good. Like, she don't do nothing bad. Like, how she ever got grounded before?
Right.
Like that.
And you know what? And that's actually a good place to say that, because modeling your acceptance does not mean perfection.
No.
Modeling your acceptance does not mean that you're perfect. You're evolving into this. You are allowing this mind frame to come into your life in every area of your life.
Yeah, and you can't be afraid to maybe not to share, but to show that imperfectness in you.
I like that. She said you cannot be afraid to share, to show that imperfectness. And matter of fact, that's also part of modeling your acceptance.
Yes.
Because you know what, when it comes to God, God accepts us even though we are not perfect. Exactly. Now, he don't like us just, living out our imperfection on purpose. No, he wants us to strive towards being good. He wants us to strive towards being better, right? And so when you accept the fact that God accepts you where you are, but he wants you to evolve.
I actually have an example.
Okay.
For anybody who's watched Jingle Jangle, you know that there was the man, Django.
Okay.
And, he was an inventor, but, his friend stole his plan, so he couldn't really invent no more. So he always just focused how he can't invent no more, how he just never can invent no more, and there's nothing in his life no more. But then his granddaughter came, and I would say that, I don't know, like to lift him up. And
what, like encourage him?
Yes, encourage him.
I don't know. I didn't see it, but it sounds good. Go on.
Yeah, and encourage him, because he always just focused on the imperfectness of himself, even though it's okay to have
imperfections, right?
But you don't just focus on them to the point like, I'm done.
Right.
You just don't do that. But then you should always have somebody beside you to always lift you up when you in that stage of doubt of yourself.
Yeah.
But that's why you always accept what God says about you. If God says you're not perfect, but you're perfect in Him. Yes. Then why? Even though. No, I don't know. But it don't really matter what people say about you, even though it's good for people to say good things about you. Yeah. It don't really matter what people think about you and what they see of you. It's what you see of you or what God sees of you.
That's right.
That's all I had to say.
And they would say, period. Yes, I'm hip. Yes, I do what the kids do. Yes, on period. Absolutely. I mean, I have not seen Bango Jango? Is that what it's called?
No, Jingle Jangle.
Oh, Jingle Jangle. Lord have mercy. I have not seen Jingle Jangle. Right. Okay. Yeah. But actually, that really sounds good. One thing about it that brings depression is the focusing on all of your imperfections. That actually brings depression. It makes people down. It makes them feel like they cannot I call it putting a period. It puts a period on the sentence of their life. When you should not be putting a period on the sentence of your life. When you put a period, that means you got to start something else. No, take that period off and you begin to live out. Change it up. Put an and or put a but then, and then this happened, and then that happened. Whatever it is, like you said, don't focus on everything that is wrong about you.
Yes.
Absolutely, it's okay to see it, and you should see it. And if it needs to be changed, change it.
But even if you do have your down moments,
Mhm.
don't stay down. Always rise back up again.
Okay, so for some of us older ones, okay, when do you have down moments? Do you have down moments? She's 11. Let's see. Do you have down
If
moments?
I was to have a down moment, let's say if I was to have a bad grade.
Oh, that can be a down moment for her. Okay.
Yes. First, I then lost all my trust in my parents. I then lost my reputation of, okay, you that straight A girl. No, you got an F.
Right. And what is that? Absolutely. What
Because they
is
still
that?
surprised when I get an A minus.
Hey, what? Right.
So, yeah, I think that would be a down moment for me. But,
Okay, now, so no, let's take that. So let's use that.
okay,
So let's say you did get an F.
yes.
Let's say you got a bad grade on a test, or you missed an assignment, or I want to know how would you handle that in a modeling your acceptance way?
I think I would have handled it with maybe taking some time out of friends and
Okay.
putting more into school.
Okay.
But I know sometimes I can tend to do too much of school and just forget about my social life. So
Okay.
I think I would still have time for friends, take a nap or something. But I would probably study more.
Okay.
Always keep on my assignments, do my homework and stuff like that. The usual, but just more intense.
Okay. So you know what? But I do like how you caught yourself. If you listen to what she said, not too much. And I think that a good word for that would be balance.
Yes.
So when it talks about even modeling your acceptance, it even accepts balance in your life. Understanding that there is some things that do need to change, but you also have to accept the fact that, listen, I cannot just lose myself totally in overworking and trying to get a good grade. I do have to have a balance.
Yes.
And I think that's very important, because you need those mental refreshers. You need that time to just sit back and say, okay, that wasn't good. I'm going to have to change that. But like you said, when you was talking about jingle jangle, not to
Yes.
sit there and just fall into this deep depression. One thing about depression, even at your age, one thing about depression is it locks you into a condemnation. It locks you into a guilt. And if you don't come out of it, what depression will do is it'll make you continue to look at the past, and it blocks your sight to the future. And if you can't see your future and how you can change it, and you can't see, how you can move forward past this mistake or this wrong decision, then it cuts out change. And we need change.
But even if you was to look to the future, if you're looking into the future and not seeing yourself succeeding, what is the point of you looking to the future?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times people will look into the future and still see their past. They'll still see what
They'll
they
see,
did
like,
wrong.
If last time I messed up on that I'm gonna mess up on it again.
Again, right. And they'll even fear it. They'll even fear no, oh, I can't look in a movie. I can't, they'll fear that.
To the point that they won't do it no more.
Right.
And they'll just sit there, do
Right.
nothing,
And
sit
focus.
in sadness.
Yes.
And focus on it.
Right.
And when somebody try to come in, they automatically push them out, go away. I'm sitting right here doing what I'm meant to do,
Right.
and it's not what they're meant to do.
If I thought like this at 11. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly what you're saying. This this is really I'm really, and I'm talking as a mom now. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you, and your accomplishments and the things that you've done. Your dad and I. But I will say this to all of you. But I still recognize, talking about that balance and modeling my acceptance, I still do recognize that even though there is a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding that she has at this age because of God's grace, and I really believe that's just God's hand on her life. But there is still some places where I, as the parent, have to be there to cultivate and to balance. Even though God gave her this revelation of Mya, her dad and I still have to help her become Mya. And I'm saying that because we can't get to the place where we don't, um, we can't get to the place where you just become, let me say it another way. You can never get to the place where you don't need to model your acceptance, ever.
Yes.
You can't become just complacent in one area. Sometimes because of her advancedness, even though her age is younger, her advancement in her thinking, it can make you just leave her there. But no, there's still more cultivating that has to happen. And I'm just talking to a lot of parents out there. I'm just talking to a lot of older ones, who is older than 11. That may say, okay, oh, she's just ready to go. No, part of modeling your acceptance is understanding and accepting your realities. It's accepting your realities of where you are, even though all the good is in your life, even though all the precious things is in your life, you still don't lose reality with life. And that's how I take a balance, even when it comes to my daughter. So let's talk more about the book. Let's talk
Yes.
more about Not So Unique. We know that Unique is actually one of the characters in
Yes.
the book. Who else is in the book? Who is this young lady?
This is Unique.
This is Unique,
Yes,
okay?
she's with the bun. And
Okay.
this is me with the afro.
Okay. So
Mya.
now I'll flip it around. There she is right there.
Yes,
So this
that's
is
me.
Mya,
Mhm.
and this is,
Unique.
okay, so this is Unique. All right.
There's also another little girl in here that's in here too, named Ava.
Ava? Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about this book. All right?
Yes.
I'm going to set this one down because this is actually the coloring book. But I want to talk about the chapter book right now.
We'll talk about that. Alright, so-
Yes. First of all, if I could just read what this says about the author. We're going to read this. It says, Tamaya is a 10-year-old, at that time she was 10, African-American entrepreneur. She enjoys writing and recently won a trophy for her 5th grade district writing contest. Oh, I want to hear about that. We can
Yes.
tell them about that. In the summer of 2020, Tamaya created the acronym Mya, Model Your Acceptance, through which she became an author and influencer. Tamaya's plans are to teach other young children how to accept themselves through God and self acceptance.
Yes.
So first of all, tell us about the trophy that you won.
So I won a trophy for writing a 5-paragraph essay
Okay.
for the district, and it
Mhm.
was for the subject "The Power of Yet." So
Okay.
basically, for the power of yet, it's saying like, say, I'm never gonna win this trophy.
Mhm.
What we would say is, you haven't won this trophy yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's the power of yet. Like,
okay.
still having hope for the future.
Oh, yes, I like that.
Exactly.
So saying, okay, I mean, I'm not going to win this trophy. That's what I meant when I was saying, like, putting a period on it.
Oh no!
But if
no,
you say-
never stop the story from
Okay.
your life going.
Okay.
Never ever.
So the power of yet is adding hope to it.
Yes.
I like that. I
Yes.
like that. Okay, I like that because if you say yet, it at least brings a hope that this could happen.
Yes.
Matter of fact, it even says that if it don't happen now, it can happen in the next contest.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and it brings that hope. We need hope. That's really good. I like that.
So
Okay.
I was really putting work into that essay. I was giving description. I was like, I hope I win this contest.
Uh-huh.
And then the teacher pulled me aside. She was like, "Why come here?" I was like, I came over. I'm laughing.
Mhm.
I'm like, yes. She
Mhm.
was like, okay, so your essay was really good. So you won the contest. I was like,
What? What?
I don't know
Okay.
why, but I thought I heard that I was gonna get $100, but that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. So did you model your acceptance with that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm a little bummed, but
All right.
it's all right.
It's all right. That's what modeling your acceptance is. I'm a little bummed, but it's okay. Sometimes when Mya get into some situations and we see a little attitude, or oh my goodness, when she's arguing with her siblings, her older siblings, and she just get to going, we be like, hey, M.Y.A, model your acceptance. You don't gotta act like they're acting.
And my brother does this to tease me. He'll be like, did I tell you I like M.Y.A? Yeah, you better model your acceptance. Did I tell you I like model your acceptance?
Right.
I be like, yeah, you told me.
So, she can't get away with anything because we're always talking about model your acceptance. Okay, so I would like to actually tell how this came about, and then we're going to talk more about the book. So what happened was Mya actually came to her dad and I, and she wanted an allowance. And so in our household, we do not pay children to clean. If you
Yeah.
clean, you actually benefit from the cleaning. So
When
we
you
was
get
like,
your house.
yeah, and you
stuff.
clean up, you actually benefit from that cleaning. So we said, you know what, we're not going to pay you to do something that you should do. And that's just our belief. So I asked God, I said, okay, God, what can we do? What can we do that will allow her to earn money? Okay. So first of all, we got the green light card. I don't know
Yes.
if a lot of you guys have heard about the green light card, but it's actually a debit card for young people, and it actually teaches them the principles of saving, earning money, just a lot of principles when it comes to money.
So I can just give my mom a quick call, say, can you put $20 on my card?
Right.
She'll be like, yeah, sure. And
it happens
sure.
sometimes. So, so she wanted to know about. She wanted to get an allowance. She actually wanted to start getting some money in her pocket, and we're not against that. We teach our children all the time that you need to keep some type of money. Always, you need to have money. So I prayed and asked God. I said, how can I begin to give her finances, but she's earning it? And God said, pay her for herself. And when he actually explained it to me, he said, pay her to work for herself. So I asked her, what is something that you would like to do? Well, she had already written won the test for the writing. I asked her, do you like writing? She said yes, and she's very creative in her thinking, has a very nice imagination, and she also has people around her. She has people around her that works in the arts and other writers that is around her. And so they began to help out as well and begin to just stretch her in her thinking, stretch her in her creativity, and out came this book. Now, this is how it happened. So what we did was we hired her.
Yes.
We actually wrote out a what is that
schedule.
called? We wrote out a schedule. We wrote out her contract. We wrote out her contract.
And there was even some strong suggestions to do in my break time.
Yes, on her break time. Well, this is what she's talking about. So she would have to come in. She had to clock in at 1 o'clock. And so we had a system, myself and her. It was actually a group system where she would go in and she would clock in.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, tell them.
First, I would wake up at 10. I would get ready for like 2 hours or eat breakfast and stuff till 1. Then I'll clock in to 3.
No, you'll clock in at 1.
I'll clock in at 1 and work till 3.
Right.
Clock out at 3 and have lunch at 4, to 4. Clock in back at 4 and work till 5. So there was a total of 3 hours in total I worked on my book.
Yes. And this was actually Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And so every 2 weeks she would get paid $75. Her sister and I actually came up together, and she put in part of the money, I put in part of the money. And she would get this deposited onto her green light card every 2 weeks. But she had to work her hours. If she clocked in late, one of us would be like, hey, you're late. Just teaching her how to be responsible and be a good steward over her time.
And sometimes I would even get some of my money deducted.
Yes, absolutely. She would get some of her money deducted as a consequence for her not keeping up with her time. So this is actually what happened. So we did this over the quarantine that even went into the summer, because actually they came out of school
Spring break
and
never came back.
They have not been back yet. So we did that, and out of this time came a book. And so she came up with the characters, she came up with the storyline, the settings, and all those different things. So this brings us to the book. All right, so how does the book begin? Tell us about that.
It begins with me going to school at, like 8 a.m., the regular time, and a new student is at school.
Okay.
And me, I don't really have friends like that, so I'm like, oh, this could be my moment to get a friend, to time to get a friend, or try to get a friend right now. So,
and then actually this chapter is called, there is 6 chapters. This chapter is called Making a Friend.
Exactly. So I went up to her. I said, "Hi, my name is Mya. No, Mya.
Right.
And then the teacher put aside working on my behalf. He like, if you should sit by Mya. She could be a really good friend if you let her be. So the girl comes sitting by me. I see her pulling over a chair. She like, I'm like, you sitting by me out of everybody in the school?
Right.
She like, yeah. So I invited her to a library to study with me. But it turns out that she didn't come.
Okay. We can't tell them why. Yes. So you got to leave that, because you got to read the book to know why she did not show up.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, with our own theme music. Okay, so here in chapter 2, I actually like the title of this. So what is a new change?
A new change, like in the story?
Yeah, why did you name this a new change?
I named this a new change because there was a new change in the girl that I had met.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So is this a good change?
No. At least not for me. It's for the people, maybe for the people she was hanging with.
Okay.
But not for me.
Oh, that's good. You know what? That makes me want to find out more about the story. You know what? I actually had a couple of people that actually got the book, and they actually read it. And they said it was a good read, and they said, and it kept their attention, and they really liked it. So we're not going to tell too much of the book, but I want to encourage you to get the book. Okay, so actually, she also has the companion coloring book. Every picture in here is actually a part of a scene that happened in the book. Like I was telling you earlier, the book is very organic. The pictures are not perfect, but we really love the organicness of the picture. So also in the book, it has activities in it. Every activities is inspired by the story. So your little ones can do it. And I would say that this probably would be a good read from about 3rd to 6th grade. This will actually be a good read for them. Okay. So you can actually find this on my website, She-Bloss.com. Okay, so as an 11-year-old, what made you write a book on this type of content, on this type of storyline? What made you write about Unique and Mya and Ava and the circumstances that was happening? What made you write about that?
Well, I really knew that I had an information to tell.
Okay.
And why not just put it in a book for the kids to read and to say, like, why she do that? As Mya told her, she need to accept herself. Like, why? And it was just a great initial idea to start my business.
Oh.
It was like a great one.
Okay, you know what? And I love that. And that's part of modeling your acceptance. That's part of accepting yourself, accepting the fact that you have an idea and it's a good idea, and then model it. How did you model it? Through writing a book, right? Do some of these situations, like what was happening in the book, does this actually happen in school?
Um, well, it never happened to me, but I believe it could.
Okay. So it could be something. Do you ever see it happening to other people? Like one of the things that did
Bullying?
happen, well, I was just about to say, one of the things that actually happened in the book that there was bullying. And there's a lot of bullying that's going on around right now. Matter of fact, children has died because of bullying. They have committed suicide because of bullying. This is actually a good book for that type of topic.
Yes,
Have you ever seen bullying?
Me?
Mhm.
I can't really say bullying since I know what the word actually means.
Okay.
The word means like get picked on every single day, constantly,
Okay.
for like for no reason.
Okay.
I would say picked on,
Okay.
not necessarily bullying.
Okay.
Because
So you've seen
I
other
actually
kids.
have got picked on before.
Okay. But you not necessarily got bullied.
No.
And you haven't necessarily seen other kids get bullied, but you have seen them get picked on.
Yes.
Okay. So when you got picked on, how was that? How you know?
It was actually because when I got my new really cool fancy glasses,
Right.
they called me grandma.
Okay. These are like fashion glasses. Mhm.
No, not fashion glasses. My glasses, my reading glasses.
Oh, your reading glasses.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They
Because
call me
they have a
grandma.
bifocal in them. That's why. Okay.
Mhm. Before I came up with model acceptance and stuff, I cried.
Okay.
The teacher got it together and stuff. He said sorry, and it was all fine. So
Mhm.
it was. I think it's not a good experience.
Right.
But I don't say it's really like. It can be hurtful, but
Right.
it's not like hurtful to the point, like suicide or nothing like that.
Right, but it can be hurtful. So give me
Yes.
some examples, like in a situation like that. So let's take the situation like when you did cry, because it was hurtful. So what part of your acceptance did you begin to model after that?
After that,
Mm-hmm.
like as I am right now,
Well, no, during that day you said that
I took
you
his
cried.
I took his apology.
You accepted his apology.
He said,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry to Mya. I was like, thank you.
Oh, so how did you model his apology?
I said thank you. We went about our day.
And it's just that
It's not
simple.
like that's one thing we can do with like teenagers and kids my age. We hold grudges sometimes. Like,
Okay.
oh no, don't apologize to me. I'm getting you back.
Right.
No, that's not exactly what I did. I
Okay.
just said thank you for saying I'm sorry, and then moved on with that day. I went with my friends, he with his friends. It was cool.
And it's just like that. She modeled her acceptance. What did she model? She modeled her acceptance of the apology. She said, okay, I take it, I receive it, and I release you. I release you from what you did to me. I'm not about to get you back. I'm not going to hold it in my own heart and be afraid to have other friends that might treat me like you did. I really release it, and I accepted that, and I'm going to model that. Listen, some of us adults can take that, honestly. I mean, because a lot of us, we still living with things, from years ago. I mean, I really think that is excellent. That is a excellent way to think, and that's an excellent way to continue to live.
And
Now,
that's one of the reasons we get in down moments, because we always hold on to the past, and we just can't let that go for some reason.
yeah. So that will bring us back into them down moments or those depressions.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that you said in your book is that, Mya knew that she was accepted by God.
Yes.
Okay. So, modeling your acceptance. Let's talk about in this context of God. What is some of the things that Mya knew that she was accepted by God? Now we talked about, like you said, the good. We did talk about that part. But shed some light on something else.
So in the book, I think I was accepted. I was accepted that. Okay, so nobody want to hang with me.
Okay.
That's okay, as long as they're not, like picking on me. Well, they kind of was, but as long as they're not like doing nothing physical to me, they don't want to hang with me. That's their decision. I'm not about to make them. So I think that was one of the parts I was accepted with, because I was okay to be by myself. But when I had the opportunity to make a friend, I'm taking it.
Okay. Okay. When I think about, let's see, when I think about modeling your acceptance when it comes to God, I think about things like there is a story that where he talks about Gideon, and he wanted Gideon to
Is Gideon the one that chopped off the head of the rock?
no, that's David and Goliath.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? But that's a good story. That's actually a good story too. Well, let's go with David and Goliath. So David and Goliath, you got Goliath that is taunting the people, telling Israel what he's about to do to the people. He's about to, he's gonna kill David. He's gonna just really embarrass them, right?
Yes.
And so you got David, this little kid who comes up and he begins to talk the voice of God. And well, yes, the word of God. He begins to talk the word of God. And David just begins to tell him, you're not going against me. You're going against the Almighty God, the God of Israel. And he begins to just tell Goliath what he's going to do. Even though Goliath is this big, huge giant.
Who never lost the battle.
Who never lost the battle. Thank you. Who never lost the battle. But David comes in with the strength of God.
Yes.
He was not in his own strength.
And what I liked about that is he wasn't backing down. He accepted that God with me, I'm fine.
I love that. He accepted that God is with me. I am fine. And because God is with me, I'm going to kill you, Goliath.
Yes, with a rock and a slingshot.
With a rock and a slingshot.
Oh, and then to kill you even more, I'm gonna take your sword and slice your head off with your own sword.
Yes, and I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna go through the town and I'm gonna let them know. Listen, this is Goliath's head, and he will not taunt you anymore.
This is God's work.
And come on, this is God's work. I think we should say it again. Say it right there. Period. Sorry. You gotta say period.
3,
period.
2, 1. Period.
And
that's my sister would say, period.
Yeah. Oh God, don't bring that in. Yes. So, and it was God's work. David was an example of modeling his acceptance.
Yes.
He was an example of modeling his acceptance. He knew that he was accepted by God. He accepted that.
And he knew that in the people's eyes, he looked like a fool, but he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what he said came to pass. Yeah, came to pass. And he celebrated and showed it.
Yes, he did. And his acceptance, you was able to see him model it through his courage. He modeled it through his strength. He modeled it through the word of God. He modeled it by not backing down.
No.
He modeled it by staying confident in what God said. And then he modeled it through his victory.
And he didn't have doubt in a single part of it.
You know what? I love that because he didn't have time for doubt.
No.
He just didn't have time for it because he was so engulfed into accepting God and God accepting him and him accepting what God said and modeling it.
Yes.
I think, oh my gosh, I think that is awesome. And it's a awesome way to live by. Because modeling your acceptance is also about accepting truths. Modeling your acceptance is about accepting the wisdoms, but it's also about not being afraid of the words that may come against you. You got to have room for a counsel. You got to have room for a space of counsel that you allow in your life, that when they say things, you at least give it some thought. So modeling your acceptance also places you in a position of correction and to be corrected. You're not afraid of being corrected. You're not afraid of being redirected. Because when you really accept who you are, you also understand that I have the ability to be corrected and I have the ability to accept correction. That's part of who I am. How do I model that? I model that through being corrected. And when someone tells me, should I do this or should I not do that, or they tell me something that I just don't want to do, I have the ability to take sound teaching, to take sound counsel, and to change with it if need be. See, modeling your acceptance has to do with you first accepting yourself. If you don't accept yourself, you can't model it. And what happens is, matter of fact, she has a quote that she says, model your acceptance. Don't model to be accepted.
And what I think that, well, what I know it means that.
See, she just modeled her acceptance. You see that? Well, I know, and she modeled it. Go ahead. She modeled it through her correction.
Yes. Model your acceptance is whatever what God says about you, you accept it and you model it.
Right.
But don't say you're in the groups. Don't try to steal something to be accepted in that group.
Right, exactly.
Because and that's modeling that, y'all, I just stole a carton or something.
Right. And so what you're doing is you're stealing to try to get their acceptance. But when you're already accepted and you accept yourself, you understand stealing don't make me accepted.
And you know that those are bad people.
Absolutely. And your acceptance will tell you that. When you accept the way God feels about you, you will begin to model it. Right?
Yes.
Okay, well, we have came to the conclusion of this interview. I am so excited to have Mya here with me of Model Your Acceptance. But before we go, I do want to make sure that you do know about her product. She has the Not So Unique coloring book, which is a companion book to her chapter book. She also has her Model Your Acceptance bookmark. And in this package comes these three things: a box of Crayola crayons. Also, we have her Model Your Acceptance lip gloss that was actually handcrafted by Mya herself. Also, we have our Not So Unique, which is our Not So Unique inspired t-shirts. We have this in adult and children's sizes. You can go to She-Bloss.com where she has her own page on there, but her product is included on my product page. So please go on She-Bloss.com and purchase you a package today, or you can purchase it separately. But we do want to just encourage her and just sew into her and to encourage her through purchasing her product. Okay, so once again, I just want to know, do you have any last words? I want to know this. With the Model Your Acceptance, what would be your thing what would be, talking to the audience, okay? What would you like to close out with saying concerning Model Your Acceptance?
Model Your Acceptance? I would really just end up with my saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Model your acceptance. Don't model to be accepted.
And it's really just that simple. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias. We are on Facebook. I am on Facebook and Instagram at She-Bloss, and she is on Instagram at Model Your Acceptance.
Mya.
Right. Is it Mya? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Mya. So you can find us on those social media platforms. Please remember to subscribe and to hit that bell so that you know every time that we are downloading a video. And also, please leave a comment, a nice comment, and encourage our young youth today. Once again, you have been here with She-Bloss Nicole and Mya of Model Your Acceptance. Okay, thank you for tuning in into this Bloss Master Bloss Network. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I really enjoyed myself interviewing my daughter Mya, and I just would like to invite you to make sure that you go onto each platform, every social media platform. I am on Instagram as well as Facebook as She-Bloss, and she is on Instagram as modelyouracceptance.Mya. So thank you once again for coming in and watching the show. Make sure that you ring that bell, make sure you subscribe, and please leave a comment. And also, can you please like this? Please go to the website, shebloss.com. You can find all of the product on there that she has, and she has a page on there. We actually share the website, but she does have a page on there until she gets her own. Okay, so go on the website, get all the product. Please support her. And once again, thank you, and we will see you again the next time we load up another show. God bless you.